Hey, this is Danny Briere, listening to Missin Curfew.
What's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Lads.
Fella.
My man, Fella Fridays continue.
Do they ever? I love a good Fella Friday because it means let's tee it up.
It means tee it up. It means where are we going on the weekend?
It means after I have my lunch, I'll say, Santi, my man, John Daly, extra vodka. I got to hit a few chips before I get on the tee.
That's tasty. I'm on this tequila, like a reposado soda with a splash of ginger ale. It's a sweet drink.
That's the up dog.
Right? That's what they call the up dog.
We're going to get into Uppy's world here in a little bit, how you have had a lack thereof tequila and stuff. I'm impressed with you. We'll save it. What a jacket. Shout out to Villolino. Shout out to you. Big guest here on Fella Friday at the Missin Curfew. The GM of the Philadelphia Flyers, your former teammate, Danny B. What a guy.
What a guy, yeah. It was
good
great.
Pull up, dog.
When we started chatting with him, I'm like, you guys ever met? And kind of like, well, yeah, in the corner. So we were trying to toe drag me, and I was cross-checking you.
Yeah. I never met him before.
Good
Obviously,
guy.
you guys have said great things about him.
Yeah.
He's like, I listened to you and Cooley on...
Yeah,
everyone listens to Cools. You got to give it to him. All these
I gotta give
GMs.
it. That's a tough. Listen, that's no bueno. Jumping on with Cooley every week. Do you miss it?
I do. I miss Cooley. I miss Brucey, Jakey, the guys I worked with there. I just, it was time for me to focus more on Missin Curfew. And you know what? I love Cooley, but I don't miss the stress of like being ready to go on his show because you need to watch every fucking game. And it's like, dude, I don't have money on this game. I just want to watch this game I got money on. You know what I mean?
If I could say this, and Max might be able to jump in here too, but I think you're a lot more relaxed.
For
sure. Like you know, it's no, but relaxed and focused on like, building like things just outside the studio, right? Like in our show, you're texting me. You're already on the ball for things in March and April. I'm like, fucking right.
Yeah, it was taking up more of my time than I wanted to, and
100%.
Yeah, no, I would say you're pissing me off less too. Actually, I would say you're pissing me off a lot less too. But maybe I'm pissing you off less too.
That's great.
No, you're right. It was. Listen, you're on for 3 hours.
Yeah,
we're in the studio now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we still create our own schedule. Max is great with us at Hall Pass Media. This is our home. But with Cooley's show, it's like 3 hours. You got you got 3 guests an hour. You got to watch the whole league. It's Steve. I guess what I'm saying, Ups, is. Give Cooley credit, man.
Yeah.
He does that 5 days a week.
I know. So for you, it's almost better because you just get to relax and listen to the show.
Totally.
And if they want to have you on for an hour whenever, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But you don't have to like gear up in your house and be like, fuck, I got to leave lunch early. And I know you like to have an extended lunch.
No, it's true.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, you're right in your flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can thank DraftKings for that.
Yeah.
DraftKings. Keep the
but,
checks coming, please.
Yeah, but what better way to lead into some news that happened yesterday with podcasts and kind of what transpired with a show that we like, Pat McAfee.
Yeah, we both love Pat McAfee. Obviously we'll give some love to the Chicklets boys. They were the first one in hockey to kind of start this. They were the original OGs and realized that guys could do it, and we've obviously done our thing on the West Coast, but Pat McAfee is a guy that we both love that is changing the culture of ESPN and the way people do business and the way talk shows are done. So listen, we don't need to get into exactly what Aaron Rodgers said. I like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a great football guy. He's definitely outspoken at times, but he'll no longer be on the Pat McAfee show, which I think for Pat, there's so much good stuff around him right now, Updog. Like, everybody loves him. Like, he gets Nick Saban on. He gets anybody he wants on his show, right? Like, Hall of Famers, world-class media guys that don't do a whole lot of stuff besides the stuff they're normally on with their own shows. So I think for Pat, he was probably just like, you know what, fella? I got so much positive energy around me. I don't need this negativity coming at me all the time. And I was a little bummed when I saw Rodgers got punted because he's been there since day one, I believe, Ups. But I think for Pat, it was probably just like, hey, I don't need this smoke right now.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. I think, Pat was a guy, he lives on that edge, right, of pissing some old people off, but bringing like new fans and new people into the program. I mean, let's be honest, like he's wearing the tank top, and he's just, he's jacked, and people who listen to him, like, he's got great flow. He brings on great guests. And, for you and me starting this podcast and like thinking about who can we have as like, we have obviously Jimmy Scoops Hayes and I was looking over us, but who can we have that comes on that's maybe current, we threw around Jack Eichel, who, he's busy, but now that he's got a cup, maybe it's him.
Yeah.
Shaddy was a perfect guy. Chucky, right? But, it takes a lot. As you know, we just talked about having a show every week for 3 hours for you. It's a lot to ask a guy to come on once a week. And for Aaron Rodgers, I mean, fucking right. He came on every week and gave his knowledge about, sports and what things were happening. But, there was a fine line that he crossed. And I think the quotes coming out from Pat McAfee was just like, it just became a lot. And I'm glad that this isn't on my plate because I want to focus on, building this show and helping ESPN and helping bring cool content to people. And I don't need the spiral downfall from comments that piss people off.
Yeah, and there's, like I said, there's so much positivity around him that he just doesn't probably have to deal. Like, he's like, listen, Rodgers, man, he's probably like, I love you, but I don't want to deal with this anymore. And another thing with Pat McAfee that I love, and if your guys up in Canada maybe don't get as much as we do down here, or if you're, you don't watch him down in the States, he loves hockey.
Loves it.
He's from Pittsburgh.
He's got a great segment.
He loves the Penguins.
Yep.
He always has PK on. He had Brad Marchand on last week before they went in to play Pittsburgh, or before Pittsburgh went in to play them at the TD Garden. This guy loves hockey, man. He pumps it up. He even knows some of the terms. He said like saucy the other day, or like backhand sauce, or like
top cheddar.
It's
just perfect. He's
he's
great for the game. He's great for everyone, and he stands by what he says. He speaks from his heart, and that's not what the show is going to change. I think it's just moving forward. Without Aaron Rodgers, maybe someone else replaces him. The show is still going to be great. One question I would ask you,
maybe.
Yeah, Josh Allen's great. One question I was asked you was, do you think Aaron Rodgers was like was he taking a paycheck from the $120 million that ESPN gave him?
Oh, yeah. He was known. Yeah, he was getting paid a lot, like 7 figures to make his weekly appearance.
Yeah. So
shit.
Yeah.
I thought he was just like an investor at the start, probably got his money back, and now was just kind of doing it like, hey boys, I made 6x. Oh, come on, but he had a salary, eh?
Yeah, they were paying him to do his weekly appearance.
Well, he's no shortage. He's got no shortage of cash. But man, with McAfee, like, he's such a beauty, and you know what I love about him, Updog, is he always wears all black. He's always got a black, tank top on with black jeans. But yeah, I think moving forward for him, it was the right decision. I didn't know that about Rodgers, so I'm sure he's going to miss a little bit of that money, but he's got tons of it.
Yeah, how much did Aaron? I'm just on this website right now, and I want to see if there's a number to it. No, it doesn't say, but it's.
I saw some reports on Twitter.
$1 million, more than $1 million. That's how much the Pat McAfee show has paid Aaron Rodgers for his appearances on the program. That is Forbes.
I knew where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought there for a second. But what they had to do, and we're kind of dealing with it to a certain extent. Well, Max is dealing with it. Is when they went to ESPN, he had to lower the F-bombs. But Max, I think they're tape delayed, right? There's got to be like a 5-second delay. And they got, we got Maxey back there. They got, they got 7 guys back there. But Max, do you think they're on tape delay? Because they're still throwing F-bombs, I think.
Yeah, every live broadcast is a tape delay, especially on an ESPN national network with a lawyer with his finger on the button. Yeah. But yeah, that's something you learn in TV school is whether it's sports, anything is on an 8-second delay. Yeah. With a lawyer with his finger on the button.
Our lawyer would be making his money.
Yeah. But they had to tighten it up a little bit. And we're trying to tighten up a little bit too, right, for our DKN stuff, but
not too much. Not too boys much. Listening out there.
If you're not watching Pat McAfee, check it out. Aaron Rodgers, shake it off, fella. Get down that wine cave and open up a ball. I'm sure he's got better stuff than Cam.
Screaming with that deal. Screaming Eagle, 4-time fucking MVP. I mean, he's got a Super Bowl. That's screaming Eagle time.
And he's coming back next year to sling it around. I can't wait to see that. But Updog, and some other news around the league. Your former squad, my former head coach. And a buddy of the podcast, a family member of the podcast. You talked about Scoopsy looking down on us. Kevin Hayes. Listen, if you don't love John Tortorella, that press conference to me is like, just give your head a shake then. This guy calls him out right away. Who's this clown's name, Uppy? You got it there?
Yeah.
Some clown from the Flyers. We all know what happened. Kevin Hayes. Listen, Kevin Hayes is playing for the St. Louis Blues right now. Like, he's dealing with that season. He's in that locker room. He's a glue guy. Like, what does he give a fuck about a young kid? And it just, the whole thing stunk. And Torts called the guy out, and I loved it.
Yeah, I've had texts from numerous guys that I played with and that love the show, saying this is why Torts is this is why he's the man.
Man,
just when it comes to press, like, it's great. But in this case, we're talking about two young individuals, one that's been in the league for 8 or 10 years and another guy that hasn't stepped foot out in an NHL game yet. But for whatever reason, his name is, have you ever heard of this podcast, Snow the Goalie?
No.
Exactly. No one has. Co-host Anthony Sanfilippo. He's doing his pod, what looked like in the upper deck of the Wells Fargo Center. But, yeah, get
him right out of the building.
You want to come out with your source, maybe, of who said this, but because what you did was wrong. Cross the line, especially where you get these trolling mutants on Twitter that just want to come out, or X, sorry. Yeah. I want to just come out and start, threats and family stuff, and it's bullshit. And you know what? So we know this, but when you have a podcast, you have a platform, watch your words when it comes to people's lives.
Yeah.
And, what the hell does Kevin Hayes have to do with anything that this kid decides?
Listen, Kevin Hayes is a chill, cool dude that loves being in the NHL.
Fuck yeah.
He's not going to text this kid.
Great teammate.
You don't want to go to Philly. That's not even coming through Kevin Hayes' mind right now.
So, yeah, exactly.
And I will give some credit to the Anaheim Ducks and Cutter Gauthier for coming out and squashing it.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. Good move by him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Other organizations could learn from that.
Yeah, Drysdale played unreal last night, by the way.
Yes, he did.
He had an apple.
Power plays back.
The 3-on-3, the kid was absolutely buzzing. He could have had, 3 or 4 goals in the overtime. He made a great first pass. He gave that Morgan Frost a crispy rice, spicy tune-up breakaway pass on the 3-on-3. Drysdale looked unreal. It must be that number 9.
Number 9 looks good. My Twitter was, my ex was blowing up.
There's still some
being like, did the up dog okay this? Like, hey, Danny B, did the up dog okay this? Yes, I did.
There's still some panty soup on that jersey, I think.
There's a few floating around there. Jeez, there's a few floating around.
I love how Torch went right. He said, hey, where's that guy? Is that guy in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is that guy? Oh, that's you. Clown. It's unbelievable.
Let him, step up and get in the ring.
Yeah.
One of these media guys needs to get knocked out.
Like, what's his punishment for this? Does he lose his media badge?
Something.
Like, obviously his credibility goes down the drain.
For sure. I would say that there's someone in the organization, and we know obviously the president there, but I would say there's someone that addresses this. And if his show is being done at this stadium, something that needs to change. Yeah.
Torch, good on you. Hazy, we love you. Flyers, man, we're pulling for him here. So we'll be right back here at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Uppy's World.
Party time.
Excellent.
Not so much party time.
He's off the booze.
I'm off the booze.
The system's shocked.
Listen, I thanks to my boy Joffrey Lupul.
I still don't think Loops did it.
Yeah, no, but I'm on this. So to my listeners out there, I'm on this 72-hour fast. I'm on hour 66, maybe? What time is it? Yeah, I'm on probably 64. Water fast. All I've been doing are these element salt drinks, which are magnesium, potassium, salt. It's what you need. And if you haven't tried them, try them. We're not sponsored by them, but they're
good for a hangover.
Great for a hangover. And I've been crushing. Listen, 2 hard yoga sessions. One I just did this morning. A crazy sauna session yesterday with the cold plunge. I'm feeling fresh. Oh yeah, you're allowed to drink coffee.
Yeah.
So no milk or anything in there. And now this benefits, there's tons of stuff it's supposed to benefit. A, maybe losing weight. B, some cognitive help. Like our Lifeforce guys. And then we got the Lifeforce coach I'm going back and forth with. So it's great. Dude, if you're going to go past 72 hours, though, you're a nut job.
Yeah. Listen, you impress me. You impress me. It's hard to do. I used to have to do fast, heading into training camp a little bit longer than 72 hours, but I would go shake, not what you're doing, but I would go shake in the morning, shake for lunch, and then, 6-ounce chicken breast with a little bit of vegetables to last, But what you're doing, nothing is.
Yeah, I think if you give yourself that, that 10-hour, 12-hour per night, what do they call that again? That's intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
I should know that. Yeah, I think if you're doing that on the reg, you're giving yourself a great opportunity. I just went from Aspen, where I drank literally 4 bottles of wine and tequila a night, with eating like gluttony, was the word Christina says. That I was just like, you know what? Let's shock the system. Early January, let's get it off.
Yeah. Well, you got
a lot of people go dry January. I'm not going to exactly.
Well, you can't because you got some fellow tours coming up.
Fellow tours, yes. Yeah. But to anyone out there, Chris Hemsworth has this show on Apple TV where he actually does this. He does the 72-hour. It's kind of gnarly, but I think humans have these shock genes that we get when we're really hungry, when you get hangry.
Yeah.
We have one when we get really fucking cold, when we get in cold plunges. And then Max wants to speak, but also one when you're in a sauna, a really hot sauna. Those shock proteins that you release is just fucking good.
Or when you're in a Vegas nightclub at 4 a.m.
Yes.
You have that feeling too.
It is. Yeah.
That's a shock
That's what
system.
How much is this mental versus physical? Is my first
It's all
question.
The mental part on day 1 and all the way through day 2 is all mental.
And then have you taken any like notes or journal or anything like that?
No, what I'm trying to just spit here is kind of what I had. But I did the 2 yoga. I guess when you do yoga, like these hot yoga sessions or hot sauna sessions, it like doubles the purpose of this, feat.
I did 6 days last year in January or something like that.
6
Fast.
days?
Yeah.
Well, just water?
Water. I had smoothies for dinner. That
See?
was like
Yeah.
But I just saw my notes recently of like my journal of my moods. And
Yeah, no. This is what I will
I bet
say.
you that
I'm a lot more.
smoothies are-
I'm a lot more calm. I'm focusing on not eating, but I'm a lot more like chill, and that's probably because my sugar levels are not all whacked from different food.
I bet you that smoothie tastes like a fucking milkshake though, when you were that hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Finally get
The
that
question
smoothie.
is, what am I going to eat tonight? When I don't know. I took out a nice ribeye that I had in the freezer, but I'm not even going to be that hungry. I don't think.
No, it's how drunk are you gonna get tonight? You mean
A couple glasses.
You're gonna be
couple
like 1
bottles.
glass of wine. You're like, hey. Speaking of Lifeforce, I got my coach. She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me what she told me. I should go on a Mediterranean diet.
What do you think of
I
that?
told her I'd like to go on a Mediterranean cruise.
Oh, so
I
that's
said, what do you want me? Lots of-
tomatoes,
So what?
cucumbers, some cheese.
I said some pita bread, some fucking tzatziki sauce, or what do you want me on here?
No, I think it's bronzino, a
It's-
little tomato.
She said, lay off the red. I go, listen, I don't eat a whole lot of red meat, but you know what? Like a lot of butters.
Yeah.
She said, stay off the butters, stay off that. Like a lot of avocado, she said.
Yeah.
Chicken, fish, and then
Fuck.
vegetable.
You kind of get the tan for a nice Greek guy.
I'm ready for the Mediterranean.
Yeah,
Bring on a little chicken kebab for me.
Can you
Okay?
get the Sprinter overseas and just buzz it around fucking Spain?
Give me a little shish kebab there, please. A little chicky shishki. Lifeforce, fellas, check it out. It's changing lives. Look at Updog. Guy fucking hasn't drank. He's feeling good. He's making a comeback. Luke Richardson texts the Updog. He's looking for a job. Now, Uppy's World. Party time. Excellent. Get this guy a Labatt Blue.
Presented by Labatt Blue, the pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
Fella. It makes me thirsty just hearing you read Updog.
Maybe I get off the fast with the beer.
I have a cold one in the fridge after the show. You made it long enough. Hey, listen, this guy, I know this guy loves a good cold Labatt Blue. I know this guy loves a nice red wine. I know this guy loves a nice Cuban cigar. I know this guy loves a good
Sounds
golf
classy
game.
to me.
I know this guy loves a good team building. And more importantly, this guy loves winning. And our boy, John Cooper, Coop Dog, congratulations, Ups. 500 wins with the same squad. He tied Toe Blake. Toe Blake.
Slap shot.
Toe Blake from the Montreal Canadiens. I text Coop yesterday with a beauty. I said, congratulations, fella. And then I sent him a screenshot of the NHL Instagram where it says John Cooper. I go, fucking Toe Blake, Coops. And he just texts back, well, fuck. So anyways, listen, Coop, been great to us. We've got to know him. I consider him a friend now, Updog. I just want to say, Coops, keep going, fella. There's more win to come, but that's impressive. Get a blue light in you.
Buddy, I remember his first season, man, coming in like, what is this, 2012, 13. I'm in Florida. New, good-looking coach. Was a part-time lawyer. Wins everywhere he goes. Good guy. Probably, better hair than me at the time.
Wow.
I'm like,
I don't know about that.
I'm like, God damn. And then what he was able to do, man, what a feat. From 2012 to 2024 so far, 12 years, one club. I mean, coaches get hired to get fired. You know that. It's, it's inevitable, but what a guy. He's doing it the right way. Loves discovery. Loves teeing it up. Good guy.
Guy.
Makes a great charcuterie board.
Guy.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Coop, congratulations, buddy. Get that blue light in you. Like I said, many more to come. Updog, the good with the bad here at Missin Curfew. It's milk carton time. Listen, when 97 talks in the media and actually gives his truthful opinion, Gary Bettman and the NHL, they should always listen because we know, and I've been criticized. I've criticized 97 a couple times about being more personable when he does media. But the Offside challenge the other night, Felt like it took 5 minutes for them to figure out if Leon Draisaitl was offside or not. I know everyone's seen it because 97 said it. I'm just going to say this. They want more goals. Goals are through the roof, but goals, that's all I hear about, right? So why do we even have the offside challenge if you want goals? Because now you're taking goals away. However, there has to be a time limit. I said 30 seconds. You said a minute. Maybe it is a minute. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. But from the time that those boys, the two zebras, put the fucking headsets on, you got 1 minute. I think it should be 30 seconds. We got 1 minute.
No, I agreed.
If it's a millimeter, or it's a goal. Let's go. Let's go.
It's a goal. Or
I
it's
just
the
think
call
it's
in
taking
the
too
ice
long.
stands, which would mean it's a goal because they let the guy go offside. Now, I'm a big fan of not calling a preemptive offside, like let it play out. But then you're right. You can't have the best players on the ice with fans sitting there waiting, watching these refs, and they play in the Jeopardy fucking song. Just figure it out. How long does it take?
Or is that Married with Children?
No, that's Jeopardy.
Okay.
Well, it's the same,
Did you
actually.
ever remember Married with Children, Al Bundy?
Oh, he's great.
If you ever
Is he
look,
still around?
hey, listen, if you ever get home, I still love. If you ever get home at 3 a.m. and you can't quite shut her down, fire on fucking Married with Children. It'll be on channel 300 on DirecTV stream, and just watch Al Bundy treat Peggy like it's just hilarious.
He's just old school,
Hands down his pants. He's selling fucking shoes to. It's just too much, man. It's too much. Sorry, I was over.
No, I don't know where we were, but yeah, I'd say a minute. A minute's like the right time. Listen, what do they give for timeouts? 30 seconds?
30 seconds, all you need, I think.
Yeah, figure it out.
Listen,
How
I'll say this. The
angles
ones, and these guys are the video coaches that are whatever, getting paid whatever up there. They're good. They know what they're doing now. And when I watch these games, you see it right away. There was one last night, right away, offside.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
That's good. That's what the rule's for. That was offside. We fucked up. But when you look, you're like, I'm not sure. This angle, I don't know. Let's look at this one. It's onside. It's over.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
Play. Drop the puck. I mean, listen, there's 12 goals a game anyways. You'll get her back, boys. They're 2-goal leads now are like nothing. They just, it's almost like Uppy. When I used to get down 2 goals, I'd be like, but I'm betting. I'm like, fuck, I'm in one. Now I'm like, all right, it's all right. Lots of time.
I agree.
Some teams in this league now are better when they get down 2-0. Like the Leafs, for example. When they get down 2-0, they almost like, all right, here we go. Now we can open it up even more and go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Well, listen, when 97 talks,
listen
to him, boys.
Yeah.
Speaking of another Connor, another superstar Connor, unfortunate accident. Well, not an accident, unfortunate situation. Smith steps up.
Yeah.
We all know what happened. It was a couple weeks ago, but we haven't touched on it. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Luke Richardson, who I played with, he was the guy that told me, stretch the body, stretch the career ropes. He always was stretching. I didn't listen to old Lucky Luke, but a beauty. He used to ride his Harley to the rink in Tampa. You'd love this guy.
Sweet. Love him.
He says, how do you deal with the injuries? He says, exercise, and as my up dog does when he's not on a fast, red wine. And by the way, when I was in the league, when I had a bad game, red wine was my answer too.
Yeah, that hits the nail right on the coffin right there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do to get by daily.
Yeah.
Being a father.
Father, entrepreneur,
being a co-host.
business guy.
Yeah.
Everything.
I need the vino, and I need to stretch it out in a hot yoga class with yoga pants.
If we made Uppy a business card, it would be the biggest business card ever, right? Like from everything that he's doing, it would just be like
entrepreneur. How do you say that word?
Entrepreneur. Anyways, what did you think about the hit?
Yeah.
Listen, I got money. I got money on
honest.
Fantelli before you go. I got money on Fantelli to win the Calder. So from a selfish perspective, this Calder race is back on. I never wanted to see Bedard be out that long, but what'd you think?
You think it's still back on?
Well, he's still the betting favorite on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Minus 230.
I think it's gonna take a great second half for someone to beat him.
Fantelli's 10 points behind him.
Yeah, I know, but it's Connor Bedard. So anyway.
Okay.
I think he's a favorite because of that. Maybe he comes back a little early. It says 6 to 8 weeks. Are they going to rush him? It's a jaw. Is he going to come back wearing a bubble? Probably.
He's going to be wearing a bubble, but he's used to that.
His goals and how he's been able to, with no players around him. He doesn't have Lyonnais. He doesn't have Goudreau's. So anyway, it's his trophy to lose. I still think our bet with Lupul is a cha-ching.
Yours is a lock. You had 44 goals, right? That's a lot.
Goals. But I also bet him against you for Calder Trophy.
I had 25 goals with Loops, and it was over. It was dead in the water. Connor Bedard has proven me wrong more than any guy that comes in this league. I thought he would struggle 5-on-5. He's been unbelievable 5-on-5. He has nobody to play with anymore. I love Nick Foligno's game, but they've been banged up. He was doing it with nobody. I mean, this kid has been a superstar. But this you needed him to get hurt to make the race interesting for guys like me that got money on it.
Yep.
It's on now. I mean, let's say he's out 6 to 8 weeks. That's start of March. He's going to have 25 games or so to come back. And for me against Loops, $1,000, he's going to need 10. He's going to need 11 goals. So you got to think this kid's a superstar, but he's going to come back. He's going to be a little rusty. So maybe the first couple games he doesn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he'll be shooting pucks and skating within a 2-week period.
That's a good point.
So he's going to. His shot might even be better than it is right now.
He might come back and light it up even more.
No, that's coming back from injuries. I know the 6 to 8 term pretty damn well throughout my career. Your timing's not there. I mean, I never seen power play, so like, that whole thing. It's going to take him a minute, but don't count him out. He's a superstar. He's a pro. I think the NHL are going to lean on him no matter what to give him the trophy.
I'm never counting him out ever again.
Yeah.
I counted him out. Fucking Cody Leibel's been all over me. Lupul, we got to send Lupul a Bedard jersey. This kid's Lupul's favorite player.
Beckham's got one.
Bedard's.
Beckham's got McDavid. Izzy's got the Bedard. I got Izzy. Bedard.
Well, get Loop's one because Loop's his favorite player. I'll never bet against this kid again. But
so one thing
I'm saying is I'm back in it.
Yeah, one thing about the hit, like the hit, it's a hockey play. It's a hockey hit. There's no intent to injure. There's no nothing. It's a step up on the blue line. I did hear that Smith had our boy Frosty reach out over to, the Chicago Blackhawks and to Bedard saying, like, he hoped he was okay. And I think that's a classy move. I've been there before. Goes a long way reaching out.
Big time.
Yeah.
Frosty's the man. That's classy.
Yeah.
Smith didn't even mean, I don't think he just stepped up. Bedard lost the puck. It was just unfortunate.
It was just unfortunate. He didn't even really go to hit him, to be honest.
I didn't think Bedard would, obviously a broken jaw is very, very...
it's unlucky.
Unlucky, thank you.
Unlucky.
I thought if anything it was going to be, he'd be in the corner and someone would push him and he'd drive his shoulder in. I just thought because he's so small. But he's obviously proven how much smarter he is than everyone and how he can see the ice very well. But I wanted to give some love to the Hawks fans who... Back in the day, I hated you guys when I was a Vancouver Canuck, but I loved the Madhouse. I loved playing there, although I left there crying one year after you beat us out. But the fans, man, it's still 3/4 away full.
Yeah.
I get it. Even with Bedard not playing the other night, I watched them play against the Oilers. I had a parlay from hell in there. The Oilers are lucky to win that game, by the way.
I know.
Stuart Skinner played unbelievable.
Nurse almost cost you a couple turnovers.
Nurse, I know you're making 9.2 bananas, fella, but the rest of us aren't. And we got money on the game. Just up the wall, please. But the fans have been great. And I think, listen, you know it as well as I do. The league's better when the Hawks are good, and it's coming.
Yeah.
But I was just been impressed by the fans, man.
Yeah,
they're still going there, paying their money, watching. I know they got a superstar, but I mean, when I got in the league upbeat, there was more fans at a Chicago Wolf game than there was a Blackhawks game.
Yeah, those were crazy fans too.
Right?
Big time.
The Wolves fans.
Wolf fans.
Yeah,
were crazy.
Allstate Arena.
Coming up that walkway.
Snap.
Fuck, we got in a brawl in there one time.
Yeah, me too. Who hasn't gotten a brawl in there? But Connor, all the best, buddy. We obviously want to see you back on the ice.
Yeah,
but as a guy that puts a little money on the Calder, I think it's back on. Fantelli, come on, kid. Get her going for me here. Top titty up, dog. Listen, shout out to Colton Fath. Is that how you say that? Like Bath?
Colton Fath, yeah.
156 points. Look at this up, dog.
Yeah, let's hear it.
He's from Whitecourt, Alberta, bro. Where's that?
Whitecourt, just outside Edmonton, bro. Nice little town.
Listen, I sent him a T-shirt and a hat, buttery. So congratulations on the win. $200 American or $250 American. Some nice Missin Curfew swag. He had Hyman, Nylander, 46 points, 35 points. Listen, the captain, Brento, 141 points. Princey, 122. Listen, I'll be at 41. I've been like almost dead last. I suck.
I know, it's tough, man.
You know what I'm doing? I think I'm fucking it up. Like, I go one guy, all right? So I go...
One guy and build your team around him.
Listen, I go McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews. I go some centerman for $10,000.
Yeah.
And then the rest of my guys, I keep them all around like 4,500 to 5,000. No, sorry. I go big-time center, big-time goalie, and then the rest of my guys got to be no more than $4,500.
We got to ask Brento what he's doing. He's always top 10.
Let's have him on.
Let's get Brento on. But I would say find like a second line. Look at a game you like that's going to be offensive. Find the second line and just hope they go off. Find the bunch of guys for 6,500. That all play.
You're telling me to stay away from. You're telling me not to. You're telling me not to do the Toronto Maple Leaf, and just go with the big high paid boys and just get the rest of the schlubs in there.
I mean, yeah. If you take the Leafs, you take You take Marner. You take shitty. Did you see yesterday that Knives got hurt in practice? Looked like his knee, like bad.
No, but I love that
Got
kid's
carried
game.
off. I loved his.
He
game
has a
too.
little Matthews in him. When he kind of looks like Matthews.
He plays hard. He's feisty. He gets to the net. He's fast, but he's hurt. That sucks.
That does suck. So you're saying stay away from the top level guys and just
Yeah. No, I think if you want to change how you're doing things, look at a game you like, which you can find the games above. Like on DraftKings, it's great because you click on the game above. Then you see all the players in that game. Pick the second line and hope that those guys have the point night, not the first line. It's a good way to do it.
there's the up dog. Up dog, Saturday night, lock of the week.
Because life's more fun when you're in the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Fella. Up dog, my man. Congratulations. Listen, shout out to Jordan Binnington. Binner. You fucked me last Saturday night. He was just kicking.
I know. I know.
Carolina threw the kitchen sink at him in the third period. And Binner, who right now I think would be the goalie for Team Canada.
Yep.
Played unbelievable. I lost in a shootout. I'm now 6-3. The up dog, your Oilers are 5-2. I'm going to go first because you went first last week. And I'm going to take Brady Tkachuk and the Ottawa Senators at home. It's going to be like -2 something, 2 and change against the San Jose Sharks. Brady Tkachuk, lock of the night, sends over the Sharks.
Ooh. All right. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning at home against the Anaheim Ducks. Lock of the night.
Killer money
John
on the
Cooper
board.
is going
Killer.
502. Killer. Let's see what you got, baby.
Money on the board, fella. Money on the board. Awesome up dog. Lock of the night. Brady Tkachuk and the Ottawa Senators for me against the Sharks. Up dog's got John Cooper and the Lightning against Killer and his Ducks. Up you the man. We got Danny Briere, GM of the Philadelphia Flyers, coming at you right now, fella. Up dog, my man. We're bringing Lucy to the fellas.
Lucy, what's Lucy, fella?
Funny you should ask, my man. Lucy makes next level nicotine. If you're tired of buying the same mediocre pouches everywhere you go, stop settling and switch to Lucy, fella.
Lucy is made by people who love using nicotine for grinding at work, late nights at the bar, or taking the edge off in the morning. And since they know nicotine, Lucy products have unique features like a double-sided lid that has that disposable area for your used pouches.
That's nice.
I know you like that, fella.
That's nice.
Skip stopping at the gas station and order online at lucy.co/curfew and use promo code
Curfew
to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code
Curfew
to get 20% off and always free shipping.
And here comes the fine print, fellas. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Up dog, my man. What a get for the boys here. You got the Flyers.
I know.
You got the jacket.
You know what? I wanted to wear this so bad. I just haven't been out to Philly in a while, right? This is like, there's got to be a big reason to wear this jacket.
Yeah.
And shout out to Billy Leno, who has Billy Bano. It's like a Padel company. He's got it over in Finland. I don't know if you've seen these, but before we do this, Danny Briere from the Philadelphia Flyers, the GM of the Flyers. Welcome to Missin Curfew. Appreciate it. I haven't seen you in a minute, so what do you think of the getup? You like this?
I love it. I love it. It's those jacket are sweet. Really proud of Billy, the way he's what he's building for us, and all those little garments that he's coming up with. It's pretty cool.
I saw this on his Instagram, Danny, and I hit him up right away, and I'm like, buddy, do you got a large in that? Obi probably say this is a medium because I lost a little weight, but I hit him up. I'm like, this is incredible. Did you ever have, an idea that he'd be into the, in the Padel and clothing world when you played with Billy Leno?
No, I had no clue. I was too worried about keeping the young guys away from him when we were playing together because they were all upset with his sometimes dicey attitude. So I don't know if you remember that. We had the rule he wasn't the young guys weren't allowed to harass him on game day. I had to concentrate on the game because he was my line mate, Obi. So I wouldn't let the young guys harass him because he was so sensitive and he would get fired up. So on game day, Nobody's allowed to get to Ville. You leave him alone. He's got to prepare for the game. So that I was more worried about that than what he was doing on his spare time.
I like that dicey attitude. That's,
totally.
I like that. That's a nice way of saying it. He had a little dicey attitude.
Walking on eggshells there.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with that.
Hey, Billy Lino, Danny B, you had good style. We take style serious here at Missin Curfew. Billy Lino had good style out on the ice. So every time I saw him out there, I'm like, this Finn, he looks good. Because sometimes the Finns can be a little touch and go with their style out there.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, at first, when he first arrived, I wasn't sure. But yeah, you're right. After starting to play with him, the skating, and it's unique, right? You watch him skate, and you know exactly who it is. But what a player. It was a blast. I loved playing with him.
Well, Danny B, we appreciate you taking the time. Updog, thanks for getting. First and foremost, we're talking about style here. The Updog takes pride in decorating. He's done a hell of a job with our studio. So when you got the GM gig, how's the office? Did you do it yourself? Did you get your wife? Did you get a decorator in there? How's the GM office looking, Danny B?
I don't know how I would describe it, but I was fortunate. I got some help. The ladies in the office really stepped up their games. And then one day I went on the road and I came back and my wife had stepped in without telling me and decorated it. So if it looks good, it's not from me. I can tell you that much.
Is it the one in Voorhees, like in between the two rinks? Where is it? Homer's old office, I guess. Danny B.
It's the one. So when we were there, I mean, the whole upstairs has been redone in Voorhees. Were you there for when the gym moved downstairs, Uppy?
No, actually I wasn't.
He didn't know where the old guy did. He didn't know where the old gym was either. He didn't know where the old
I knew where the hot tub was.
So there's a lot of construction here the last few years. So upstairs, where the gym was, is now where my office is, and where Homer was, that office has been redone, and Jonesy is in there.
So it's a long walk for the boys to get up to the GM's office.
Yeah, it's a long, lonely. I made that walk. It's a long, lonely walk. It's a long, lonely walk.
That's great, Danny. Well, congrats on that. First off, as an ex-Flyer, Danny, I got this question asked to me a lot when I played, and then often as a retired guy, it was, some of the best places you played, where would it be? Now that you're, a GM of the Philadelphia Flyers, to you, what does the question mean about what it's like to be a Philadelphia Flyer? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, we just sat. I don't know if you guys saw that, but over the weekend we had the Mr. Snyder game on Saturday against Calgary. The guys were fired up. There was it was kind of an old style hockey game. To me, and I know the game has changed. It's not the Broad Street Bullies anymore. But there's something to it, playing to the Flyer style, playing to this city. The fans care. The fans, all they ask here is that you play with passion, that you care about your team and you play hard. And that's what we're trying to bring back. I think John Tortorella has done a fantastic job at, bringing that attitude back of never quitting, playing as hard as you can, no matter who you are. And, I think it's paying off. It's part of the reason why, we're in a playoff spot at halfway through the season, which I don't think anybody expected. Looking at the predictions at the beginning of the year. So it's pretty cool. I'm not saying that we're, winning a Stanley Cup right away, but we're certainly moving in the right direction. And it all started with attitude and the culture that we're trying to bring back. So when you ask me, what it means to be a Flyer, it means that you're leaving everything you have on the ice. You're playing hard every single night. And Uppy, that's why you were so loved here, because every shift you played it like it was your last. And to me, that's what a Flyer is.
Yeah, and I wasn't lucky enough to be a Flyer, but I went in there and played against you guys. And that when you went into Philly with your guys' teams and with Ash and Gratz and Cote, and you're like, fuck, here we go again, right? And the fans are all over you, and the building's loud, and they're chirping you. You're like, we're in one tonight. Like, we're in one. As soon as you walk in and you pull in that parking lot with all the stadiums, you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
So, Danny, it took me a minute. I grew up in Alberta, Edmonton Oiler fan through and through. I played in the league. I think I was in there 4 or 5 years, and I get traded to Philly. At that time, I really didn't understand what it was like to play in like a hockey market or a hockey town, or what it was like to put on a crest and a jersey that carried so much tradition with it. And then the fans who travel, like, right, they're in LA, they're traveling to Detroit.
Yep.
And that's something special. That's something that, you just said it, Obi, and you've played for Vancouver and you've had that experience. But, when I look back at, the opportunity to play on a team like Philly, it just resonates, and it's something no one can take away from you. But you have to play hard. That is the question. There's no hiding in Philadelphia.
Yeah. And I always say, I'd rather play in front of fans that care about what I do. So when people ask me, well, isn't the Philly fan tough to play for? Aren't they too hard on you? And to me, I'd always say I'd rather play against, in front of fans that care about what I do, a passionate fan base like they are. So I never had a problem. Even then on the nights, there were some tough nights when I got booed personally. The team would get booed. And it's tough. There's no doubt about it. Those nights you go home and you do a lot of thinking that night, and it's tough to fall asleep. But on the reverse, the times when we had the chance to play in the Stanley Cup final in 2010, the conference finals that we had throughout the years, there's nothing like it. So I feel very fortunate to still be part of the organization.
Absolutely. You get the hair on my arm standing up remembering these times.
The Updog wants to get on the forecheck right now. He wants to be F1. He wants to get in there.
We're going to need a few more injuries in that lineup to get me in there. Little trip down memory lane, Danny B. Game 7, double overtime. Our boy Joffrey Lupul, big friend of our pod and still our big friend, scores the biggest goal of his career. You were right on the ice. You're the first guy to jump in the pile with him. What do you remember about that moment for Philly? Because I got one that I'm going to bring up a little bit after.
You're talking about the Game 7 in Washington?
Yes. Yeah.
I still remember we're up 3-1 in the series, and we thought we had it under control, and Washington beats us, Game 5, Game 6 in Philadelphia. And it was one of the longest. It was a train ride back to Washington, but I don't know if you remember, but it was a back-to-back. So Game 6 and 7 was a back-to-back. They were back-to-back games, which rarely happens in the playoffs, but because of the building availability, we had to play the next day. And it was probably the best thing for us. We didn't have the chance to sit on it too long or think about how we were about to blow it. And then we showed up in Game 7, second overtime. I think it was on a power play, took the face off, won it back to the point shot. It might have been Chemo, I think, from the point shot. And Loops was there for the redirect, I believe, or the rebound. One of the greatest feeling, winning in overtime, Game 7. There's nothing that is much better than that. Maybe if it was a Stanley Cup final, but it was pretty wild.
Yeah, you hit it right on the eggshell, is that we played back-to-back. And that Homer didn't have enough time to look at all of us and go, "You idiots thought you guys were going to close this out at home, and you had all this."
Didn't Richie come back to the train and be like, "Boys, we better win"?
Yeah, Richie gets called up to the front of the train, and he's like,
"Boys, we better win."
He gets back here. He goes, "If we all like our jobs here, we better step up and win this Game 7."
He was a scary guy, Homer, when he wasn't happy. Totally, I don't know if you've ever heard some of the stories when he comes in the room with a hockey stick. If he walked in with a hockey stick, you better be careful. Don't venture too close to him.
So, Danny, let's stay there for a second. So you've had, the GMs over the years in your position now, your road to the Philadelphia Flyers GM. Is there a way you like to carry yourself, do things, talk to players? How do you carry? I knew how you carried yourself as a leader on our team. How do you carry yourself now as a GM? Are you? Is it open door policy? Is it?
Definitely. Yeah. I'm around the guys a lot. First of all, I have a great relationship with Torts. I've had the discussion with Torts, making sure too that it works for him as well. Torts is really tough on the players, and he's honest, and that's what he's done. And I'm probably, Jonesy and I, a little closer with the players. We walk around the room, we have a lot of discussions with our players. We've played the game, and I hope and I think the players do respect that. That we're around and we can share experiences with them. So that's kind of the way I see it. Yeah, there's tough decisions to be made, but if you act and you hide and you stay in your office, it's still a tough decision. So if we can help a little bit, if we can make the players feel at ease, and make it feel like we're all part of this. We want it just as bad as them, and we care about them. I think for me, that's probably the most important. It's to show that we all care. And Torts has a way to show the players that he cares about them, but he's with them every single day. I don't get to go on the ice anymore. I don't get to go on in practice or video meetings with them. So, I like being around the guys and, making sure that they know we're there and care about them.
I respect that, Danny B, because, I look at a guy like Brian Burke, and I love Berkey, the big Irishman, but he would, he wouldn't come on the team play, and he'd stay away from the guys. And you look like a guy like Jay Feaster. He's always around. So I guess, how much do you get on the road? Are you on the team playing with the boys, or does that just your schedule dictate how much you can get on the road with the fellas? Yeah,
there's times during the season when, there's special assignments, players to go watch, especially prospects. For example, I was just at the World Junior Championship in Sweden, so I ventured away from the team for about 7 days. But for the most part, yeah, I'm traveling with the team. I'm around the players and the coaches, and I fly with the team pretty much everywhere.
Danny, big news. You're at the head of the seat for this decision this week. You guys make a big trade. Cutter Gauthier, your first round pick from a couple of years ago. You move out to Anaheim. A lot of speculation on what happened. Is there anything you can touch on just now that there's been a couple days and the dust settled? Is there anything that you're glad that things happened the way they did? It could have happened maybe different. Anything you can touch on with us?
Well, I don't think there's anything more than we can add on. We've been very transparent with our fan base from the moment the trade happened. There's nothing to hide. We told them that we were kind of pushed in a corner, and we had to make the best trade possible to try to get a player back. Cutter had told us that he wouldn't play for the Flyers, didn't want to wear the uniform, so. We try to get the best possible scenario going. Time will tell, how it's going to work. But we felt that adding a top end right shot defenseman, they're tough to find, that can possibly play on the top pair for years to come. He's only 21 years old, so players like Jamie Drysdale are rarely available. Just like Cutter Gauthier is a player is rarely available. So. Hopefully it's a trade that works for everybody.
Yeah, and Danny B, I love the way that you and Jonesy handled it, and I think, we've all been in dressing rooms. You want guys that want to be there, and that's important, right? It doesn't matter where you are. If you don't want to be here, then move on somewhere else. And I want to talk about Jamie. We got to know Jamie a little bit out here with his time with his Anaheim Ducks. He's a great kid. I think he has a bright future. However, I think he helps you right away, Danny B. Like, I think he can jump in there, and I'm pulling for you guys. I know the expectations were to make the playoffs. We want you guys in, but I think he can help you guys right away.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. We go and we get a player, and look, there's no secret. Our power play has been struggling. So that's right there, an opportunity that he'll have, and maybe he makes us better immediately. So that's the plus side of things. And the fact that he's only 21 years old is a big thing that was important for us. If we were going to move on from a player like Cutter Gauthier, we wanted to make sure we got someone that was close in age and was going to be with us for the future. The timeline, the reconstruction that we're doing here in Philadelphia, it was important that we got a young prospect in return.
Just don't play tennis against him. He's pretty good.
Oh, is he? All right. I like hearing that.
I'm sure you've done your homework, but this kid...
I don't know if his tennis game was at the top of the list for Danny B, but that's a good tip.
No, but it's good to know. Maybe pickleball.
Yeah,
gotta watch out for that.
I love pickleball.
Hey, this guy's a beast out there. No, but Danny, I'm sure you guys did your homework. We watched this kid grow up here the last 3 years.
Great kid.
His upside is huge. And I sent you a message the other day. I'm like, this is a great move for you. This kid, not only is he a good kid, skates like the wind, and he's the tape-to-tape guy. Not enough guys are doing that crispy tape-to-tape pass.
No, and like Danny B said, better than us, you don't find right-handed defensemen. Yeah. Like, if you asked a lot of GMs in the league, if they want a young right-handed defenseman, there'd be lots of guys, Danny B, that would put their hand up for that. They don't grow on trees.
Yeah, it's a position of premium. They're tough to find, and when you have them, you try to keep them. And, we were lucky that Anaheim liked Gauthier, and they had a surplus of right shot defensemen that they could move on from. So that worked out for everybody. And the other thing, we did our research. We tried to learn as much as we could about Jamie. And one thing that was extremely important for us too, with the player, the prospect coming back, was character. leadership, because we are building a certain type of culture, and it was extremely important that we had someone that would fit in with the team concept and the culture that John Tortorella is building.
David, you talk about expectations at the start of the year, and I guess the fellas have put you in a good spot, but maybe a difficult spot. We're whatever, a month and a half away from the deadline. You're sitting in a playoff spot. I guess my question is, how hard is it for you and Jonesy to be patient, but at the same time want to reward the boys maybe with getting in the playoffs? Like, is that something you're thinking about on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expected us to be in this position. And it's a fine line, because at the same time, we're realistic here. We realize where we are. We're still far from a Stanley Cup. We're not going to mortgage the future, taking chances on letting go of young players. So we're very realistic. The plan hasn't really changed, but the way the players are playing, you got to respect that too, and not crush their dreams. So it's got to be a fine line. We'll see how things evolve in the next couple of months before the trade deadline, and we'll probably have some more tough decisions to make.
Keith Jones, first year as your president, you two seem like you both got the mind for the game. You both have the history around the game. You both played the right way. Jonesy's been great to us, a beauty. Yeah. What's that tandem like, having a guy that is there to lean on, but he's there as your as a partner? And then who's got the company card, like when we go out for dinner here? Who's having to fork out that Amex?
I let Jonesy flex his muscle with the card. He helps us out. It's been awesome working with him. And I knew Jonesy just from my time with the Flyers. He was always around the rink. Always, he was calling our games. So I got to know him. I always thought he was the best analyst in hockey. And in a sense, I feel a little selfish kind of taking them all to myself nowadays, but it's been so awesome to have the chance to do this job, because we've gotten so close now, and to have someone by my side, like him to do the job has been awesome. I know we've had some days that are tougher than others, but I have a partner right there by my side, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, from an outsider, you guys look like you got good chemistry, and you both played, and you wore that jersey. And for me as an ex-player, that's what I always wanted when it came to management. But John Tortorella, my old buddy Torts, you've touched on him a little bit here. I love Torts. I met Torts when I got traded my rookie year as a young kid, and I wasn't exactly a polished pro, Danny B, at the time. And he made me a better player, a better man. But I guess what I'm saying is, what have you learned from Torts, working with him day to day, that maybe you didn't know before? Yeah. I mean, he was a bit crusty the last couple of days of the media, which I love. But what have you learned about Torts that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, I'll be honest. I had him as an assistant coach when I started in Phoenix, when I started my career. And he was totally different as an assistant coach. And then I watched him from far away as a head coach, and you see, his interaction with the media, and you make up your mind sometimes on what you think he is as a head coach. And I think I don't think it's a fair representation of who he is. Obi, you wouldn't know, I haven't played for him, and he cares so much about the people around him. He cares about his players. He cares about his staff. The way he treats everybody around the rink is second to none. And that's what I've been so amazed with him. The way he treats people. He's been a blast to work with. And I try to tell people, sometimes they just shake their heads and they're saying, yeah, right, I'm sure you're just trying to butter us up and make him look good. And on the flip side, Torts hates that I'm actually telling people that he's actually a great guy. He likes to keep that personality of a tough guy. And so I know he doesn't like that, but he's been a blast to work with. He's been so good with our young player. And you hear a lot of times, and Obi, you just mentioned it again, people assume that because of his personality that he's not good with the young players. And that's, I have the same mindset. Watching him from afar, I thought he must be so tough, and he must just, kind of stuff the young players. And it's actually the opposite. He wants them to make plays. He wants them to go on offense. He's actually been so refreshing to work with, because he thinks outside the box. He wants guys to take chances. But he's tough. He's demanding. And if you work, he can live with the mistakes. So I don't know if that's your experience, Obi, but yeah. I love working with him.
Yeah, that was my experience. I got traded at the deadline from Anaheim, and I went in there to Tampa, and I wasn't playing great, boys. I was making mistakes left, right, and center, getting dashed up. I'm like, man, this guy's a great guy. Like, he's not really letting me know. And then in my year-end meeting, he's like, listen, I was a little easy on you. You know, you came here as a rookie. You know, you better be ready for training camp. And I'm like, okay. And then it was a little bit different the next year, but you always knew where you stood with him. He was honest. He didn't sugarcoat it, and you knew exactly, like, good or bad. He's like, get in here, Obes. I got a clip to show you. I'm like,
well, if there's a chance you're talking good about a coach, it's pretty good because your relationship's probably the most part where a little dicey.
I was in the doghouse a lot.
Danny B, talk a little bit about your team right now. A guy that, you know, the more I look at him, I thought he might have played like me when he first came in the league. He was just feisty.
He's got a little more touch now. He's got a little more touch.
But now he's like kind of got a little Danny Briere touch to him, a little flair. He's scoring goals. He's an all-star now. Travis Konechny. You know, watching this guy over the last couple of years and the evolution of him as a player and probably as a leader in your room, you know, what is it like to see him get recognized now as an all-star and to be basically carrying your team into a spot you guys are in?
It's been amazing to watch him develop into the leader that he has become. You know, I remember a few years ago, because he started with a bang and then he had a couple years where it was a little tougher and then he jumped right back in now. And I remember talking to him last year, and actually Torts told him that before. He said, TK, you're a leader on this team now. Because, you know, there's always that time when you're not a young guy anymore. And you never know when exactly that happens. But Torts was straight up with him, and he told him, he says, "You're not a young guy. You're a vet. You're a leader now." And I guess TK's reaction was like, "Really? I am." And you know, from that point on, he just took off. And it's been, again, so cool to see him develop into the player he has become. We knew he was good. We knew he'd always play and give it his all, but now, like, the way he's taken off, and he's dangerous, power play, PK, 5-on-5, you know, very spunky guy. He kind of plays to the look of our team, and it starts with him offensively. He scores the big goals. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's fiery, and that's what we love. We love in Philadelphia. The fans love guys that wear their emotion on their sleeves, and he certainly does that. It's been really cool to see his evolution.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. And Updog, he just got more power play time than you, buddy. Yeah, that's all it was. If Updog would have got more power play,
he's a shorthanded specialist now too. How many shorties he's got? He's got 5 shorties, I think. It feels like
something like that. Yeah,
yeah. His release, man. I didn't know his shot was as good as it. Like, he scored a couple this year. I think in Phoenix, maybe like short side, spinky.
Would he be coming out of the corner with the puck though? If you were going in there,
well, I'd probably take a cross check penalty.
It's funny, Obi. It's funny you mentioned that. We actually had it was 3 years ago. I had a talk, and we did a little research for him, and we got him in a meeting, and it was a long meeting, but we asked him at one point, we said, you know, what's the percentage, you know, when you get in the slot, what's the percentage? And I think the percentage in the NHL was something, let's say 20%. And we asked him, what do you think you are? And he says, I'm a terrible shooter. I think I'm probably at 7%. And we looked it up, and I think he was like, a time and a half, he was like, let's say 30%. And we showed him, and we had proof to back it up. And he looked at us, and it was like, I'm a good shooter? So yeah, you are. and he just needed proof. And from that point on, I think the belief, the confidence grew. And you mentioned it, like, now he comes in whenever he's in the scoring area, he just believes he's gonna score. And just that different mindset has really taken off and changed his career.
Yeah, don't be giving.
That's how you get. That's how you get paid. That's how you get paid too. Shoot the fuck it. That's how you get paid.
No, but it's incredible that you guys and your team around you, Danny B, kind of look at that sort of thing, and you know, like, this guy's getting in great spots. Let's encourage him to fire the puck more and not pass it. Right, like, his shot's incredible. It's good that.
Geez. Yeah, no,
someone should have told me to back check.
They said up you go to bed, and you said I can't. Danny B, I want to ask you about Sean Couturier. Obviously, you know, Updog dealt with some injuries throughout his career, and our boy Lubes, and I've seen some of my best buddies go through it, and he's went through it, but he's come back this year and been a two-way center that I think has jolted your lineup. And when I watch you guys play, his 200-foot games there, his leadership's there. How nice has it been to have him back?
Well, it's really nice, but it makes me realize how much we missed him the last couple of years. That's part of a big reason why we were struggling. Looking back last year, not having Sean Couturier in the middle now, you have young guys like Noah Cates and Morgan Frost having to play against, the top lines from every team, having to face the Nathan McKinnon and McDavid and Crosby and Pasternak and et cetera. So adding him back to the lineup in a top spot, facing all the tough matchups, now it just puts the rest of our centermen in a better chair. They can play their game. They don't have to worry about facing the best player on the other team. So it changed everything for us. Part of the reason why we were able to have the start that we had, part of the reason why we're in a playoff picture at this point. I know it's still far, and I'm not saying we're making the playoffs, but the first half of the season, the success that we've had, adding Sean Couturier, it starts with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know what you're saying about playoffs, but you're playing meaningful games right now, which we all know, meaningful games, especially down the stretch. Like I said, I hope you guys get in, but if you don't, you're still playing meaningful games, which will make these guys even better. But for me on your back end, Travis Sanheim's been great. I can't wait to see Jamie in there. But Nick Seeler, I love this kid, Danny B. He's old school. He just drops his gloves and starts chucking. Tell me Torts loves him. Tell me you love him. I love this kid.
How can you not? How can you not? It's the story is amazing, and a few years ago, he was ready to hang him up. Chuck Fletcher convinced him to come and play a little bit more. And, the last few years we had him as an extra defenseman on the team, and now he's playing in our top four. It's absolutely amazing to watch him play. When we talked earlier about, being a Flyer, like he's the perfect description of what a Flyer means. You watch him play. He's blocking shots. He's diving face first in front of him. He's hitting. He's diving for pucks. It's simply amazing. He's a great leader. The guys love him in the room. And hopefully it'll be a Flyer for a long time. He's a special breed that is tough to find.
Dying breed, I say. Dying breed.
Yeah.
Danny B. Our boy, the bird dog, Scotty Hartnell, he's on TV a lot. He's chiming in when he can.
By the way, I just saw him downstairs. He was hanging out with the players earlier today.
Is someone in charge of the hair? Like, I know Biz called him out this week, but like
I saw that.
And you've seen the transfer. Yeah, like we've seen Scotty with hair down past his shoulders. The Hartnell down before. Like the guy's been all comedy. What's it like to be around Scotty? Like, I know his kid's there. He's growing up his kids in Philly, but what's it like to have, Hartsey on TV there for the boys?
When Scotty's around, there's always a laugh coming. One of the greatest teammates I've had. It's fun to keep him around here, to get him on some of the broadcasts. He's getting better and better. We had Brian Boucher replace Jonesy. But it gave us the chance to also have Scotty in the area doing some of the games that Brian can't do. So it's good, both of them, to have two ex-Flyers around. They understand what the Flyers are all about. They know what we're doing. They understand what we're trying to do with the culture. And they're an extension of us upstairs and what we're trying to do. So it's been a blast having both Brian and Scotty around.
Yeah, well, Danny B, I want to say thank you. It's officially nice to meet you, buddy. I remember playing against you. You had a great career, and I love what you guys are doing in Philadelphia. Say hi to Torts for me.
Will do.
Thanks for
and then Danny B, you got the Habs tonight. Any money on the board? Any money on the board for the fella there? Hey, just pump the boys up.
Hey, I might have to step in the room before the game on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, good for you, Danny.
Always,
thank you.
It was my team, just like the Oilers. My team was the Montreal Canadiens, but not anymore, unfortunately.
Hey, Danny. By the way, one of my highlights, if not the highlight, was scoring the goal that put him out. We played it yesterday on Missin Curfew. He texted me. He's like, "What a tip!
Who let you stand there beside the post on touch? I would have been cross-check on you."
That series, we beat him in 5. I mean, the place was completely silent. You couldn't. You could hear.
I remember the crowd. That was awesome.
Yeah. So
what a best feeling. It'll be nice meeting you as well. Nice catching up. Always great seeing you.